Right now at noon, the new bus rapid transit system begins in Madison. We'll take a look at the new rules drivers need to be aware of. Plus, no love, no problem as the Packers knock off the Titans behind Malik Willis and a strong defensive performance. This is News 3 Now at noon. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jalen Banks. We begin with continuing coverage. A silver alert is out for a missing man from Dane County. The sheriff's office is asking for you to help find the 65-year-old Timothy Campbell. Take a look at your screen. He lives in a group home on Loper Road in the town of Roxbury. Authorities say Saturday evening around 6:30 is the last time anyone saw Campbell. He could possibly be wearing a gray jacket and gray or red sweatpants. The Dane County Sheriff's Office says he tends to leave on foot towards the Sauk County and Lodi area. If you see him, you're asked to call the Dane County Sheriff's Office. The number is on your screen, 608-284-6840. Madison police say they've arrested a man in connection with the vandalism on State Street. Windows at two shops, Little Luxuries and Metric Forest, were smashed out overnight. Police say they found the man with a brick in his hands and arrested him. The 31-year-old faces charges of felony damage to property, felony bail jumping, and second-degree recklessly endangering safety. Today is the first weekday with Metro's new bus rapid transit system. That means drivers will have to follow the new rules of the road. There are dedicated bus lanes colored red on the roads. These are generally on the leftmost lanes. Officials say this is because many stops on the new routes are in the median. They say other vehicles are not allowed in the red zones except when making a left turn. Here's a look at the system map. The red line you see is Route A. It runs from Junction Road on Madison's west side all the way to Sun Prairie. The route runs through much of Mineral Point Road and University Avenue. It then goes around the Capitol and then up East Washington Avenue. There are park and rides at either end of the routes. The routes in solid blue and green are shorter rapid transit routes. The routes with yellow dashes are a part of pre-existing local routes. And slight rain chances return today. Here's your first warned meteorologist, Jacob Madison, with a look at your first warned forecast. Jacob.
Thanks, Jalen. Right now, we certainly are seeing a big change compared to last week. Now, yesterday was the first day of these cooler temperatures, and we're seeing them again today. Right now, 64 degrees in Madison, despite seeing mostly sunny skies, and the heat index right at the actual temperatures with some calm winds. Now, looking at the current temperatures across the area, mostly in the middle 60s for Dane County. A few areas have just now reached the lower 60s. Further north and west, it was in the 50s about an hour ago, and most of our area will likely stay in the 60s for the rest of the afternoon, maybe a few 70s here and there. But current radar is dry right now. Should be dry for the rest of the day, but we could see some rain later tonight. And as I mentioned, most of the area will stay in the 60s with a few high temperatures in the lower 70s. Certainly a lot cooler compared to last week, but the temperatures, although they'll feel a bit warmer than yesterday because we'll have the sun shining, they'll be pretty similar to what we actually saw. Now, we are going to see some rain later tonight. I'll talk more in detail about that coming up a little bit later. All
right, we'll see you then, Jacob. Thank you. The Packers are now 2-1 after yesterday's 30-14 victory over the Tennessee Titans. Backup quarterback Malik Willis got the start at quarterback for the injured Jordan Love. Willis facing the team that drafted him, and he showed out. Willis finished with 202 yards through the air with 73 on the ground and a total of 2 touchdowns. The Packers defense also opening eyes, picking off quarterback Will Levis twice and sacking him 8 times. The Packers now prepare for a divisional showdown in Lambeau against the Minnesota Vikings. Next Sunday, you'll be able to watch that game right here on Channel 3000 at noon. Still ahead for us at this afternoon hour. If you have a question or concern about your plants or garden, now's the time to send in your questions via email to tips@channel3000.com. Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company joins us later in the broadcast with the answers. Again, that's tips@channel3000.com. And still ahead this afternoon, a popular hotel chain will soon be under new management. Plus, check your fridge why lactated milk is being recalled in dozens of states, including Wisconsin.
You're watching News 3 Now at noon. Moving forward.
Get your best night's sleep on a new Tempur-Pedic mattress from Steinhoffels. Support a great cause when you test rest a Tempur-Pedic. Steinhoffels will donate $20 to special spaces, and you get a $20 reward card for lunch on us. Tempur-Pedic Queen mattresses start at only $52 per month. Plus, get up to $300 in Steinhafels cash. Start sleeping better tonight. Steinhafels, your mattress destination. Shop in-store or online.
Quartz takes a different approach to health insurance. We know every life well lived is a journey, and we're here to light the way at every step. That's why for 40 years, we've been alongside the doctors and hospitals who know what their communities need. Because they're a part of them. Because we're a part of them. There's a fire burning in all of us. Let's ignite it together. Quartz. Find your spark.
We all know costs are too high, but while corporations are gouging families, Trump is focused on giving them tax cuts. But Kamala Harris is focused on you.
Building up the middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency.
She'll make groceries more affordable by cracking down on price gouging. And she'll cut housing costs by taking on corporate speculators. Middle-class families build America. We need a leader who has their back.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Customers are very surprised how quickly we can get the garage doors fixed.
When I'm on the job, it's go time.
We know tomorrow is too late.
Here at Precision, we have the best parts, best warranties, and we're always here for you.
Precision Door Service, a name you can trust.
I'm a two-time Trump voter.
In 2024, I cannot support Donald Trump.
Trump is 100%
responsible for January 6th.
His treatment of women is just disgusting.
Trump called servicemen suckers and losers.
If Trump has a second term,
it will be much worse than the first.
Kamala Harris is a prosecutor.
He's a convicted felon.
In 2024,
I will be
proudly voting for Kamala Harris.
Republican Accountability PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
I'm Joan Balwig, and these days the cost to make Great-Grandma Balwig's blue ribbon banana bread is, well, just nuts. Wisconsin families are feeling the pinch of inflation, even on the basics. That's why I work to put dough back in your pockets. Led the effort to defend our family farms and pass the biggest tax cut in state history, because the only way to make life affordable again is to do what banana bread does and bring everyone to the table.
HP Hood LLC is recalling lactate milk in more than 24 states because it could contain trace amounts of almond, which is not listed on the label. No illnesses have been reported so far, though the possible presence of almonds could result in a life-threatening reaction for those allergic. Consumers are urged to return the recalled products to the place of purchase. Motel 6 will be under new management soon. Parent company Blackstone has agreed to sell the hotel chain to India-based Oyo in a deal worth $525 million. The agreement includes the company's Studio 6 locations and is expected to be wrapped by the end of the year. There are more than 1,400 Motel 6 locations across the U.S. and Canada. And Beetlejuice dominated the box office for the third weekend in a row, raking in around $26 million domestically. Transformers 1 took second with $25 million. Horror flicks Speak No Evil and Never Let Go were third and fourth, bringing in $5.9 and $4.5 million, respectively. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Matt Piper.
And at the noon hour, the Dow Jones is up nearly 10 points. NASDAQ is up nearly a point. And S&P 500 is up nearly 7. And Pam is watching today's ag prices straight ahead, and we are tracking your first warn forecast. Then later on Live at 4, Transformers 1 features the voices of a star-studded cast. We'll find out what Will Loper thinks about it.
Are undocumented immigrants that are the least likely to commit a crime.
Meet Edwin Ramos. This illegal immigrant murdered 3 Americans. An MS-13 gang member, Ramos was arrested for a gun crime. But as DA, Kamala didn't prosecute him. Months later, Ramos murdered a man and his 2 sons in cold blood.
Are undocumented immigrants that are the least likely to commit a crime.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
the scariest house in the block this Halloween at Menards.
Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners.
Surgery.
For prisoners.
For prisoners. Every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access.
It's hard to believe, but it's true. Even the liberal media was shocked Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners and illegal aliens.
Every transgender inmate would have access.
Kamala's for they, them. President Trump is for you.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
These were my great-grandpappy's glasses. And now they're yours, son.
Why can't I just get my own?
What? No, these have at least a few hundred years left in them.
I think the kid needs his own. Get 2 pairs of glasses and a free eye exam for $79, all same day.
Yeah, I want my own.
Stanton Optical. Easy's our thing.
Leave the gate open, and it's chaos. Biden and Kamala opened America's gate, abandoned the Border Patrol. In came over 8 million unvetted illegals, and a fentanyl crisis endangering families.
Let's go. I'm Derek Van Orden, and after spending 26 years as a Navy SEAL, I'll do anything to protect your grandchildren and mine. I know how to defend this country. So let's secure the border and save America.
I'm Derek Van Orden, and I approve this message.
There are over 21,000 Wisconsin veterans struggling to pay for rent and utilities.
Thank you for your service.
Many are also facing issues with their mental health.
Thank you for your service.
We must do more to help these heroes who have already sacrificed so much.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service.
Words simply aren't enough.
I'm sorry.
Make a difference by donating to this critical Wisconsin survival safety net today.
The Farm Report is sponsored by Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Welcome back at noon. Let's check in now with Pam Yankee from the Midwest Farm Report. Pam, another beautiful Monday.
Beautiful Monday indeed, and I'll tell you what, it was a beautiful Friday up in the Ripon area where I got a chance to work with the Wisconsin Agriculture Tourism Association and another NFL draft-themed corn maze that we rolled out. It was at Pedals and Plows in the Ripon area. Take a look at some of these pictures. Actually, we started out last week in Chilton with the first of the corn theme or NFL draft corn mazes. That was in Chilton at Polly's Pumpkin Patch, where I caught up with Aaron Popke, who is one of the staff administrators with the Packers organization. They were actually a pretty big part of the momentum to get these NFL draft-themed corn mazes put together. And Polly's has a beautiful opportunity for people to come by and get psyched up about the draft. They were also joined by some Wisconsin Farm Bureau Federation folks. Then we moved on to Ripon, where the governor and CEO, president of the Green Bay Packers, Mark Murphy, joined up with us. Just a real great family event. And like we said, also Wisconsin Farm Bureau Federation standing in support of these farm families, all the extra time that they've spent, hopefully to draw bigger and bigger crowds out to their farms to enjoy not only the pumpkins, but also the corn mazes as we all get excited for the draft. I'll be up in the Bondwell area tomorrow with the third of 4 corn mazes, wrapping it up on Friday with the unveiling of the 4th corn maze in the Stevens Point area. You can follow along Fabulous Farm Babe on Facebook or Midwest Farm Report on Facebook. Milk production for Wisconsin surprisingly slipped 2%, more like 2.3% in the month of August. The heat kind of got to the cows. 2.67 billion with a B pounds of milk produced, but like I said, 2% less than August a year ago. We're milking about 1.27 million head of dairy cattle, but that's 2,000 fewer animals than what we saw in July, 3,000 fewer cows than what we had in August. Now, we weren't alone. There were other states like Arizona and New Mexico also saw their milk production go down. Today in Chicago, barrel cheese is unchanged at $2.59. 40-pound block cheese down 3 3/4 cents at $2.20. The AA butter also down 3 1/4 cents today at $2.94 a pound. So we'll have to keep an eye on what's going on with that dairy complex. I don't think that they're done with the seasonal buying for the holidays that are around the corner, but for right now, they've tapped the brakes. I am not tapping the brakes. I'll be up in Bondwell tomorrow morning for the next corn maze and back with you folks on News 3 coming up on Wednesday.
All right, well, sounds good. Safe travels, Pam.
Thanks.
All right, now let's get a look at your certified most accurate forecast with meteorologist Jacob Montesano. Jacob, what do you have for us?
Thanks, Jalen. We are going to see some light rain later tonight, but beyond that, we're not expecting much rainfall for the rest of the week. But we are going to see high temperatures in the 70s compared to the 80s we saw all of last week. Our next chance of rain after tonight looks like it will be by the time we get to the weekend. Now, a little bit of a fun fact about the precipitation we've seen the last couple of days. We have seen over 5 inches of rain in the last 4 days alone. Now, from the beginning of August through last Wednesday, we didn't even see 3 inches of rainfall. So now with the rain we've seen the last 5 days, we are at over 8 inches from that time frame beginning August 1st, and we average around 6 3/4 inches of rainfall. So just like that, we are now above average in precipitation, even though before the last 4 days, we have been very dry. Now, despite a lot of rain we've seen lately, we are going to be fairly dry for the rest of this week. Again, a small chance of rain tonight, a little bit of a better chance of rain will return over the weekend. But by Tuesday evening, all the way through early Saturday, we're not expecting any rainfall. Now, here's a look at that rainfall chance for tonight. We are going to see clouds increase throughout the day. Should be dry for the daytime today. As we get into the overnight hours, we're going to see some showers, especially in the southeastern portion of our area, but the heaviest rain will stay southeast of Wisconsin in general. So most of our area will likely not see any precipitation, and if it does rain, it will be very light, not going to be a huge issue. And then once we get to Wednesday morning, we are going to see dry conditions for sure. Now, as we look at the temperatures, not only has the rainfall dramatically changed, the temperatures have too. Now, we had 12 straight days in the 80s from September 10th through the 21st, and the high yesterday was only 68 degrees, which was a 19-degree temperature drop compared to Saturday. And ironically, yesterday was also the first day of fall, so the weather really turned right at the start of the season. And for the next few days, we're going to see temperatures similar to what we saw yesterday. Highs today, upper 60s, lower 70s, and that's going to be the case for tomorrow as well. Now, we are going to see a little bit of rain, especially off to the east, but for the most part, we're going to continue to see partly sunny skies, maybe a few mostly cloudy skies at times, but temperatures will peak right around 70 degrees. Now, overall, temperatures aren't going to be that cool going forward. So starting on Wednesday, they'll be in the middle 70s, but we're not expecting any 80s. And by next week, we could be talking about consistently high temperatures in the middle 60s. So it'll definitely begin to feel more like fall by the time we get there. Now, before I show the full 10-day forecast, I do want to point out that there's not a tropical storm or a hurricane yet, but this storm right now is expected to strengthen into a hurricane and impact portions of Florida. And right now, the ingredients is there for it to possibly be a major hurricane. Right now, the projections just have it at Category 2. But it could strengthen a bit more. I'm mentioning this, A, because this could be a very dangerous storm, and also the remnants of it could impact our area by the time we get to next weekend. Now, here's a full look at our 7 to 10 day forecast. Pretty quiet for the rest of this week. Very comfortable temperatures, highs near 70, possibly middle 70s at times. And then we're going to see some rain over the weekend and early next week. And if you notice those temperatures by the time we get to next week, they're going to be on the cooler side, 60s for the most part. And we're going to continue to see more temperatures like that as we progress into October. So, you know, fall is definitely here, and it's certainly going to feel like it if it hasn't already.
Definitely looking forward to it. This is my favorite time of the year.
I 100% agree.
Ready to break out some jackets. All right, sounds good. Thank you, Jacob. Howard's in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, kicking off Oktoberfest in style.
If you've been hearing a lot about Oktoberfest and you're a bit confused, since it's not even October yet, you're not alone. You see, Oktoberfest in Germany usually starts around the middle of September and runs for about 3 weeks. Well, here in the States, we celebrate it in October. So to celebrate it at home this year, rather than in a crowded bar or restaurant, I thought it'd be fun to make a German classic, as well as to dress the part. We start off by combining ground beef and pork with some caraway seeds, garlic powder, salt, and pepper. After it's mixed, we form it into oval patties, then coat them with some breadcrumbs before sauteing them until they're cooked through. Once they are, we take them out of the pan and add in some mushrooms and brown gravy. While this simmers, you can heat up some spätzle and red cabbage to round out the meal. Come dinner time, simply smother the patties with the mushroom gravy and dig in, because each bite will make you feel like you're at Oktoberfest. To get the recipe for our Oktoberfest patties, all you have to do is go online now It's that easy. I'm Howard with Fraulein Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a fun and festive way for you to say, ooh, it's so good. Delicious?
I guess Halloween came early for Howard. Ahead at noon, Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company is here answering your plant and garden questions. Email those questions to tips@channel3000.com. We'll get the answers next.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Are you worried about getting in and out of your bathtub to shower? Don't step over, step through with Wisconsin Walk-In Showers. Let us custom fit your tub to be a walk-in shower without any remodeling. Our bathtub conversions take a few hours to complete. Call before you fall. Wisconsin Walk-In Showers.
Eric Hovde is a multimillionaire California bank CEO. But when it comes to our health care, his plans aren't so rich. Hovde says he wants to repeal the Affordable Care Act.
We have to try to defund every aspect of Obamacare.
Costing 200,000 Wisconsin families their health care. And Hovde supported policies that will cut Social Security and Medicare and raise the Social Security retirement age. A millionaire lifestyle works great for Hovde, but his plans on health care are a disaster for us. Win Senate is responsible for the content of this ad.
When it comes to winning internet, TDS is in a league of our own. Just like the Green Bay Packers, Wisconsin born and bred, we live, work, play, hire, and get involved in the communities we serve. Like delivering the green and gold standard of internet. 100% fiber internet that's as fast, powerful, and reliable as your other hometown favorite, the Packers. TDS, internet that's built Wisconsin strong.
Brian Style worked to overturn Roe v. Wade, called it a great victory.
Brian Stiles' victory banned abortion in Wisconsin, and his agenda would ban it nationwide, with surveillance of pregnancies and restricting birth control and fertility treatments. Peter Barca fights to protect our freedoms, not tear them away.
He backs Wisconsin's law enforcement, firefighters, and unions.
And Peter does what's right no matter what party it is.
I'm Peter Barca, and I approve this message.
Memories matter. This bend on Cox Hollow Lake was one of Dad's favorite fishing holes. Crest Funeral and Cremation Service helped us make sure he's never forgotten. Making it personal. It's how you heal. We are Crest. We truly believe your memories matter.
Are you worried about getting in and out of your bathtub to shower? Don't step over, step through with Wisconsin Walk-In Showers. Let us custom fit your tub to be a walk-in shower without any remodeling. Our bathtub conversions take a few hours to complete. Call before you fall. Wisconsin Walk-In Showers.
Lisa Briggs with the Bruce Company is here answering your plant and garden questions. Again, email them to tips@channel3000.com. Lisa, as always, thank you for joining us.
Hi there.
All right, so let's I'm doing well.
Good.
Loving the fall weather, at least for today. I know it's going to warm up in the next couple days, but let's get to it. A lot of people sending in their questions, of course. Big fan of yours, a lot of our viewers. Shelly, she's asking us, is it too early to cut her perennials down to the ground?
No, Sheila, it is not. This is a perfect time. I would just say that if you had any disease issues, so fungal stuff especially, make sure that when you cut them back to the ground that you send that stuff out for the city. Your home compost pile is probably not going to get hot enough to destroy those spores, so make sure that you put that out with for leaf pickup.
And then from Jan, she has a 2-year-old honeysuckle vine. It has white dust leaves on them. Is it too late to treat it so that the vines are ready for next summer?
So that would be one of those fungal diseases that we talked about earlier, probably powdery mildew, which looks like a dusting or milk spilled. You treat that with a fungicide. It's probably not going to do anything this year, but as those leaves fall off that honeysuckle vine, make sure again that you get them out of there. Powdery mildew especially is very successful at overwintering, so you want to get those spores out of the way.
And then Dennis wants to know, when is the best time to prune a lilac bush?
Best time to prune lilac bushes are right after they are done flowering, so we're usually talking about end of May, early June, although I have seen a lot of pictures on Facebook of area lilacs blooming now, which is weird. I think it's just the weather pattern. It might affect blossoming next spring, but it won't hurt your bush, so don't stress out about it.
And then Lynn is wondering why. Is it too early to cut back the clematis that are dying from the bottom now?
Clematis have they have like 3 types, and they have different pruning methods. So why don't you email a photo or the name of the clematis that you have to plantdesk@brucecompany.com. Once we know what type it is, we can properly advise you about pruning techniques.
And then Jenny is asking where she can have soil tested. She says her natural plants and vegetables no longer grow in the soil, and she rotates which vegetables she plants.
Okay, so we do have at the garden center some sort of basic testing kits. If you want a really good analysis, then what you want to do is you can send it to the UW Extension. I believe that we have some of the testing containers at the garden center at the plant desk, or you can just call the Extension at UW and they will send you one, and then there are instructions on what to do.
And Terry wants to know, when is the best way or best time to get raspberries ready for the wintertime?
Okay, so there are 2 kinds. There are the ever-bearing raspberries, which are bearing right now, and those, once we get to frost and they're done, I cut them back to the ground, and you can leave a little stubble so you know where they are. The new canes that come up next year will fruit. The other type is the type that flowered and bore fruit back in June. Those you want to take out the old canes, so the canes where you can see evidence of the fruit, those will not bear again, but leave the ones that didn't fruit. That's what's going to produce berries for next year. All
right, well, sounds good as always. Lisa, thank you so much for joining us. All right, here's Jacob with the final check of your first one forecast. Jacob.
Thanks, Jalen. The next couple of days are going to be fairly quiet. They're going to feel a lot more like fall compared to last week, as high temperatures will struggle to get to 70 today and tomorrow. But by the time we get to the middle and end of the work week, they'll be steadily in the 70s, with highs expected to be around 74 to 77 degrees. Now, for the weekend, that's our next significant chance of rainfall. Just a small chance tonight and tomorrow. And then the rain chance does look like it could possibly continue through the first several days of next work week. It also is expected to drop a little bit in temperatures, as highs will be back in the middle 60s by then. So at that point, it will certainly feel like fall. Still might be a little bit warm at times during the middle of the day this week, as those high temperatures, as I mentioned, could still reach the upper 70s. It wouldn't surprise me if we do see a few areas in the lower 80s, especially on Thursday, but we're not going to see nearly as many 80s as we saw last week or the week before, for that matter. So overall, a very fall-like forecast, still a little bit above average once we get back up into the middle 70s, but we are going to see those temperatures drop right back into the 60s. So it is unclear if we'll see the 80s return anytime soon, but over the next several days, it's going to be very comfortable nonetheless.
All right, time to break out those morning jackets. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you back here for Live at 4.